Hi, welcome back to my channel, Graceful Art Designs. Today I'm going to be pouring out, intentionally pouring out painting to shape one of my cats, my cat called Katie. I laid on the colours in circles, little circles here for her body and up there for her head. So these are the colours. Didn't come out quite as I wanted, but there's the white, there's the burnt sienna and umber mixture, and then there's a bit of silver and a bit of black and more white, and I've done the same. And here I've put a bit more yellow, probably too much, but it's going to blow off. And that will hopefully, I put a lot of white there, so that should mix with the white. So that's how it's turned out, and perhaps the camera didn't pick it all up while I was blow drying, but it seems okay. It's not, it's not exactly how I wanted it, but it's okay. My hairdryer, my old hairdryer was quite weak, and I wanted it weak. I didn't want it just blowing off because it's a small canvas, very tiny, 20 by 30. And so now I'm going to shape it with the front of a paintbrush. I tilted it a few more times just to get most of it off, because it doesn't get proper even coverage. The canvases all seem to sort of dip into the center somehow. They're on 4 equal cups on equal corners, and still the paint collects in the center and doesn't go over the edges. So I have to wait now anyway for it to dry. I just thought I'd show you how pretty the colors are. It's given me ideas for different other different paintings, because the colors are so pretty. The yellow ochre mixed with the burnt umber and burnt sienna mixture plus the silver and a little bit of black. It's just made a lovely combination. Also, I wanted to show you what I did with my last painting. When I painted horses, I let the runoff cover my placemats, and they have each turned out so lovely. I don't want to mess them up on this table, but that's one, that's another one. They are such lovely colours. And these are big placemats, these are dinner placemats. These are little ones, these are coasters, and they also have all turned out lovely. I actually covered over lovely coaster covers, but it's like chocolate ice cream. I think the paint has dried enough for me to try to shape it now. So I'm going to shape it using a photo that I have on my phone, as my cat is not in front of me. And I will show you the photo at the end, but I'm not going to try and do it without looking at the photo. So unfortunately you won't see me shaping it, but you will see the shape once it has been drawn on. Here's the outline, and in the photo she's scrunched up in a basin that she likes to sleep in. It's a little grey basin, so you can only see her front paw, and her tail's kind of wrapped around her. Basically, I think the paint is moving in some places, and other places it's not moving. So I don't want to fiddle too much, otherwise I'll end up having multiple markings. But just for those who don't know much about cats, each of my cats has got one normal looking ear and one chopped off ear, and that's because they've been spayed, and that's how they mark them with a blunt cut. So that's why the 2 ears don't match. This is how the painting dried, and really I took that photo. I just wanted to use the photo of my cat's face, but I didn't like the way her body was sitting in the all squashed in the basin. And this painting has come out with such beautiful colors, all of the colors that are inside her, and so this outline is altogether wrong, and good thing I didn't do more to it than that. Today I managed to take 3 more beautiful photos of her that show a lot more of her, and so I'm going to use one of them for her face and one of them for her body. Although I might have to use the one for her face and body, the same one, because in the other one she's got a beautiful expression on her face, but you can't see her lovely white neck. So yeah, I'm going to probably use that one, and I'll post those photos after I've finished painting this. This is the outline I've done so far, and the colors in the painting are so pretty that I almost don't want to put in the stripes, and well, you can't see the spots on her tummy, but all the other colors. I mean, there's white under her chin here that I'm going to put in, and her eyes have to be green, greenish yellow. And I'm not sure, this is her tail wrapped around her here. It looks like a paw down there, but I can't really see from the photograph. I have to go up to her when she's sitting like that again and have a look what she does. It almost looks like the tail is wrapped in there underneath these paws, and those are her back legs. But there's a lot of the light creamy color here, whereas the end of her tail is actually quite dark, but the middle part has got the rings around it. So, but I've got her face and her expression in her face, more or less. I think she's got this tiny little mouth, and then the white fluffy bits around here. So I'm going to carry on working, and I have to look at the photo while I'm doing it, and decide whether to put all those rings and markings in like I did on the ginger cat, or just to leave these lovely colours as they are. So I just put a little bit of each colour on the brush. I make a mixture to get it as close to her actual colour as possible and not to ruin the painting. But where there's supposed to be a lot of white like here, then there's more of a mixture of white and the Naples yellow. So it depends what comes off the brush. I'll just add a little bit more and then try to just brush it on. She's got this little white chin, and there's all the white markings around her face, which I put on very lightly, and they're not really showing up much, so they'll clearly need another layer, which is a pain because it's quite difficult to just even get the first layer anywhere near her actual markings. So I need to just rinse my brush and start again. So I need more white here. And the reason I preferred using the more solid paint is because it's just easier to work with, and then I can more quickly wipe it off with a wet wipe if it's looking wrong without damaging the painting underneath. So this is really a little delicate white chin here. A very dainty little face. She is so beautiful, in my opinion. I mean, they all are, but, you know, she was the most sweetest little kitten when I found her in the street. And just so, I don't know, adorable and appreciative and, you know, amazed to find her home. I mean, so is Ginger Girl. She never knew her before. And I wonder how long it takes them before they forget that they ever were in the street and that they never want to go back there. Anyway, hopefully they will never have to go back there. All things being equal. So this side of her face is a little bit off. Here there's a lot of white in her ears, especially this left ear. Oh, it's her right ear. Photo swings things around. And then there's like a little tuft of white at the base of the ear. There's dark sort of in between. And then this little tuft. And then this is the ear which has been cut. Depending on in the photograph it doesn't look so obvious, but it depends on the way she's sitting, the angle she's sitting at. So I need to go back to the photograph now. That's my progress so far. I haven't quite got her face right yet, but I'll get there. I just have to keep working on it. I think I've got the angle slightly wrong, but I mean, there's so many photos that I've looked at in my brain. I've got her at that angle, and so but really her face should be like that size, I think. But it's, you know, the more I fiddle, the more I'm messing up what's in the painting, and I don't want to lose those colors in the painting. This fur I added on around her collar because I really think that's nice, and that really is how she looks. And then there's another layer around here and around here, so in greys and silvers, so I'm going to put those in, I think. And then I'm not sure about the paws and the rest of her. It's so pretty just as it is. What would you do if this was your cat? With a relatively dry brush, I've got the different colors, the yellow Naples yellow and the white, and a bit of the burnt umber, and with that mixture I'm just going over the painting as it is and making this furry look, and it's working quite nicely. I did put in these dark rings because she's got a half ring, dark ring there, and then quite a dark ring that goes almost all the way with a slight break in between. And then I put the markings in her legs. Don't know if I'll add anything into the legs. I put her tail behind her there because I saw in the other photo the tail is to the side, so she kind of wraps it around herself, and the tip is very dark, but then it gets lighter, so I might have to add a bit of the silver in there, although there is silver in there, but just to a thin layer, just to give this look of fur like I'm doing here. So you can still see the colors underneath, but it just breaks up the design of the painting a little bit and makes her look more like herself. So I don't think the light goes this far down. It's more dark down here, and she's got a lot of white up there, and that needs to be a bit whiter. So where I go back and I look, and if I'm fast enough I can wipe it off with a wet wipe if it's wrong, but otherwise it will just stay there, because unless I go over it with another color like here. I mean, I just put the dark there for definition, but to separate her from the rest of the painting. But in fact in the photo there's, you know, her face is white right to the edge there. And then she has these dark markings that go from the eyes to the corner, and this needs to be the eye color in there, so that will look much softer once I've added all that. And then she's got these little white tufts just under her nose, above her mouth, just like little triangles that look so cute. And her mouth goes up like that a little bit. And just this whole blend of ginger and very, very pale ginger and slight yellowy golden, and I'd say more of the ginger in her nose, a sort of soft pink look around the tip of her nose, whereas the rest in her face here is more white. But it's such a very delicate blend of the white and the golden, yellow. It's not, you just can't hope to get that look exactly with a brush, so I'll have to wipe that away. Well, I had to add in the white and the yellow Naples mixture all over with a bit of silver. Silver really does help to give highlights. The pattern from the blouse is still underneath. You can still see it, still gives the base of the colors. And I'm leaving it in the background, and where I had made marks I just went over with a bit of silver mixed with black, and it sort of just disappeared. And so now I have a bit of the liquid green on my brush, and I'm putting it into her eyes, or trying to, I put her pupils in already, but now I've gone over the pupils, and I've probably gone over most of the black, so I'll have to come back with that. But I did want to get the eyes exactly right, because her eyes, in the one photo she'd just woken up, and so her eyes were half closed. In others, she was kind of staring at me because the tin of cat food was on the table and she wanted to know why I wasn't opening it. And so her eyes were kind of slitty, kind of had that slit look in them, like, come on, get on with it now. And then finally I got the big round eyes, and that's when her head was suddenly at an angle to the left, so I didn't want to use that photograph. So thank you for watching. I think I'm going to leave it there. If I do make any more changes, I will take another photograph at the end. Bye for now, and please like and comment.